today, yung coaching session for February 17. The first coaching session for today is with RenzliPangs. Isa sa mga naging winner nung monthly giveaway for Feb. For my subscribers, if you guys want to join that, um, I still have the monthly raffle ongoing. For now, it might change in the future, pero for now, I do still have a monthly subscriber raffle where like one subscriber will win a free coaching session. In this case, for this month kasi naging two winners because uh, Megane was the one who gave a free session to the community. So shout out to her as well. But yun nga, we have Renzli Pangs here. So Renzli, meron ka bang mabilis na introduction dyan? Just a quick one so that yung mga viewers from YouTube and Twitch can know you a bit more.
Hello, hello, YouTube and Twitch viewers. I'm recently Hardstock Gold last season. Yun lang.
So, um, the first place, bakit ka nagkaroon ng interest para sumali dun sa dun sa parang coaching raffle na binibigay ko for a subscriber?
Gusto kong mag-improve and also magdiras na rin makabalik sana ng plat. At ako'y tampuhan na ng ng tukso.
Flat ba yung yung peak rank mo before?
Yeah, plat ng pagkarang ko. Ay,
Anong
plat?
season?
Oo, tama.
Anong season yun?
Last season lang. Ano ba last? 12?
Oh, yeah, 12. Okay. So, sa, ano, sa VOD na to sinend mo, kasi hindi ko pa siya napapanood at all. Like, literally, kaka-download ko lang. Meron bang specific thing na gusto mong uh, parang i-tackle natin sa VOD na, you're looking to improve or something like that?
Siguro yung pagkatapos ng lading phase ko ano yung gagawin. Tapos, and then yung freezing to be exact sa CSing.
Okay. For sure, hindi ko bibigilin sarili ko talking about dun sa freezing part. Kasi, lagi kong nababring up yun sa mga educational streams ko before and even kapag kausap ko yung mga friends ko, freezing is OP, blah blah. So yeah, probably. And then yung after the game, yeah, we'll have that. Noted. Um, so sa climbing journey, well, ilan na ba yung games dito? Update nga natin yung, is it updated? Okay. So konti pa lang naman. So I guess in the past, siguro last season or whatever, kung kailan ka pinakamadalas naglaro, um, ano yung parang naging malaking struggle mo in terms of like sa pagka-climb?
Ah, ang mas ano ko sa akin is yung madali ako matilted, low mental ko. And then also, I tend to throw yung lead for some reason.
Okay, so parang stuff na that has to do with keeping your lead, siguro closing up sa pag-close out ng game, and then
Yep.
mindset, mentality. Okay. Alright, anything else? Meron ka bang gustong sabihin na kailangan kong malaman before, we start dun sa coaching session?
Wala naman.
Alright, so kung yun lang, then can proceed to yung pre-game, which is I look at your OPGG. By the way, I'm gonna favorite this. Um, every time na magko-coach ako ng someone, actually, binabantayan ko yung mga profiles nyo to see kung hanggang saan na kayo nag-progress. Baka may challenger na kayo, hindi naman lang kayo nag-update. Diba? So,
Okay.
ayun, keep in touch. Tapos, I think ito yun, ay yung Mordekaiser game kasi ito yung latest.
Yep.
Wow, MVP. Alright. Alam mo, pareho kayo ni Ish. Na yung sinubmit nilang VOD na na kukunin for coaching is yung MVP sila. I'm not sure if you guys are trying to flex on
I
stream
I
or
blame OBS for that.
Okay. Honestly, yeah, mukhang interesting itong isang game. Pero maybe some other time. Pero, okay, so, usually titignan ko lang dito is mainly yung runes. Uh, First question ko siguro sa rune setup mo before anything else is this yung parang preset dun sa rune recommender or parang sa'yo binago mo to?
I think yung preset, yep.
Tapos wala kang binago?
Not sure, pero nasa bod naman siguro yun.
Okay, okay. So,
I
may kita.
included the champ select.
Okay. So, may kita naman pala natin. Pero, um, pero ngayon nakikita mo yung runes, like, do you think na you would agree dun sa runes mo na to for this game or parang you would change it? Or is
I'll probably change yung bone plating to overgrow ba yun? Yung for more armor.
ta?
Yep.
Conditioning?
That,
Okay.
that, that yes.
Anything else?
Yun lang naman.
Okay. Um, so, I, I'm gonna be honest na, upfront pa lang na I don't know too much about like yung sa setup ni Mord sa runes. All I know is Conqueror talaga dapat siya. Doon sure na sure ako. Um, I think wala namang ibang choice dito kundi Triumph. And then, I think Tenacity is good in some games. But I guess wala ka rin gusto dito eh. Like, attack speed's kinda weird. So, I guess Tenacity lang talaga. So, I guess ito lang yon. Last Stand is really good on Mord. I guess yan na talaga yung primary page. I kind of agree with that. And then yung secondary, let's see. I'm trying to think about it. So, I don't think may benefit yung sorcery. I think domination's too cringe. Inspiration, maybe. Pero I think resolve nga yung pinaka-consistent. I guess okay lang to. And yes, I kind of agree na ayoko rin ng bone plating. I think revitalize is okay. Second win, not so much. Yeah, probably conditioning. Yeah, so far, I mean, since sinabi mo na rin, do you have yung reasoning mo kung bakit pipiliin mo yung conditioning over bone plating?
Hindi yata kami nagka-tradean most daw. Not sure.
Well, hindi. I mean, kung kuwari, hindi mo pa alam kung paano mangyayari yung game, pero um, nakita mong Raven yung katapat mo, etc. Or ito yung team comp na katapat mo.
For include added armor since almost pure AD sila.
Okay. Well, so I think yung mas magandang line of thought kasi when it comes to thinking about tong parang middle row ng Resolve 3, this applies to any champ. So pwede mo siya magamit for stuff like Nasus, right? Bone plating mas maganda to if like more on all in yung champ na kalaban mo. I guess you can kind of count Raven as an all in champ pero uh, mas madali kasing ma-proc ni Raven lahat nung yung buong bone plating kasi ang dami niyang spells and attacks sa isang rotation. So, I would say na less effective to and plus 55 seconds yung cooldown niya so it's really long. Second wind, I would take it kapag you're up against like mga range top laners or any other like poke type champions like ako Azir, Victor if ever man you play mid with Resolve. And then conditioning is more on parang a scaling type rune na kapag let's say hindi naman kailangan ng defensive rune early game for your champ, then possible na kumuha ka ng conditioning. In this case, pwede naman. Thinking about it, sa Raven matchup, either conditioning talaga or bone plating eh. Pero feeling ko lang mas consistent ng conditioning in most games against Raven kasi there might be some games na, like you mentioned na Raven might not be trading with you, then at least after the lane mas may effect tong conditioning compared sa bomb plate. Other than that, yung rune stats naman ito or what I call shards, preference lang naman yan. So, shouldn't all be a big deal. may other questions ka pa ba when it comes to like rune setups or stuff?
Wala naman na.
Okay. So let's proceed dun sa VOD. Kasi nga, I mean, I guess dun sa context kasi ng Mordekaiser, hindi siya ganun ka-complicated yung runes. Alright. So, here it is. Haven't opened. Epic Pen. Anytime now. Oop. Here. Okay, testing. Nakikita mo ba?
Yep, I see it.
Cool. Okay, so, ako nga, kasama nga sa Chisam Select. Alright, so let's see kung rune recommender thingy majiggy siya. Yeah. Okay, cool. Also, you're one of the human top laners na nag-take ng TP instead of, Ignite.
Yes.
Okay, so, so first question ko for you is that, kapag ganito ka sa loading screen, like, ano na yung iniisip mong, ano yung naging thought process mo, like, going into the game?
Ignite top laners.
Oh,
Yun
yeah.
yung una ko naisip. Sorry.
Okay, and then, anything else?
Yung, mostly yun lang naman. More, more on game na inano ko. Tapos yung mastery din pala nila. Yun din ang naiisip ko.
Okay. So, yung lagi ko sinasabi sa mga students ko is usually kapag loading screen na or let's say yung sa moment ng champ select na yung sa moment ng champ select na ayan yung parang finalist na yung yung team comps yan, like you have all the information, usually at that time pwede ka na mag-start na mag-plan dun sa early game mo. I think it's very important. Hindi naman I'm not saying na kailangan mong magplano palagi. In fact, if magtatanong ka sa mga ibang players na umangat ng mga diamond pataas or something, probably hindi nila ginagawa to. Pero it's a method na nire-recommend ko kasi one, it helped me. And two, feeling ko kasi, or at least is sa mga belief ko when it comes to League, is sobrang complicated ng game ng League. I think that's not an understatement. Anyone who has played League enough and who has followed League when it comes to like yung mga higher level plays, mga pro play, ganyan, like nakikita nyo yung difference and yung nung gameplay ng average player compared to the pro players. Maybe hindi mo magets agad kung yung difference or di mo ma-identify kung yung difference, like all the little things na nangyayari sa pro play, but at least yung eyeball test na parang oh my gosh, parang di ko kayang gawin yun, parang kung ako yun, parang di ganun kalakas yung Mordekaiser ko, for example. So game is very hard, so naniniwala ako na if you could minimize yung variables na kailangan mong parang i-play around, then I think mas dadali yung game. And part dun is yung pagplan sa early game. So, if I were you, kapag ganitong laning phase, naisip ko like, okay, so how would my level 1 go against Riven? How would my level 2 go, etc. Level 3, right? Hanggang sumabot ka sa level 6. Tapos, maybe you will start asking more questions. The more kasi na magkaroon ka na experience sa planning, the more na maging comfortable ka sa pagtanong sa sarili mo kung ano yung kailangan mong alamin for the game. For example, since di kasi ako Mordekaiser, I mean, di ako like active, like patagal lang din ako Mordekaiser, so I'm not too sure if like a lot of things change sa matchup na to. But like I would start wondering like, okay, so ano yung magiging like first recall ko ideally, and if ever hindi ko makuha yung parang first base ideal setup ko, what would be like an alternative? Anong pwede kong bilhin next? Kapag ba pareho kami ni Riven nag first base, sino mas malakas sa aming dalawa? Yung first base niya o yung first base ko? Or something like that. Kapag ba bumili siya ng alternative kasi hindi siya nakapag-farm, is there something I could do differently compared kung ito yung item niya? Stuff like that. Like, is there any difference kapag naka-ignite siya compared to kapag naka-TP siya in terms of how I would play like as one of the levels, ganyan. So, something along those lines yung magiging thought process mo around yung laning phase mo kasi yung importance nito is ma-identify mo kung ano agad, parang alam mo agad kung ano yung may expect, diba? Say for example, like na-plan out mo to, edi alam mo na let's say yung conclusion mo sa level 1 is um, for as long as merong Q yung Riven, like di pa yung nagagamit, dapat di ako mag-trade. Parang ganun. Kasi feel mo may lugi ka, ganyan, based sa assessment mo. Okay. So, what do I mean kapag sinabi kong mas madali siya ma-expect? Well, the thing is, kapag mag-rely ka sa instinct mo, sa reaction mo, may mga times na mapansin mo, uy, parang pwede ko siyang labanan. Sige nga, try ko. And, pero, and that might work well, right? Pero, kung planuhin mo, let's say for example, yung ganitong line of thinking, ngayon, for example, level 1, nag-queue agad sa creeps yung Raven, tapos wala na siyang queue. Now, hindi na to applicable. So, you could go to a different branch and say na kapag wala siyang queue, say, pag wala siyang queue, whatever, let's say, pwede ko siyang walk up, like auto, then proc yung passive, get Q, isolated Q, ganyan, value, then I can win a trade level 1. Stuff like that. Doesn't have to be super complex, depende sa champion mo. Pero, alam mo yun, you have to entertain yung mga ganitong ideas para kapag andun ka na sa game, mas instant yung response mo kapag nakita mong nagbago yung variables ng matchup. Right? Say for example, level 2, what if yung level 2 mo is like, oh, kapag magla-last hit yung Riven, try ko mag-E. But maybe you add a different layer to this na kapag ini-expect niyo yung eco, I just use my Q to bait out yung dash niya. Something like that. Right? And then you try to parang conceptualize, kumbaga, as many ideas as you can. Now, obviously, kapag marami ka ng experience with this and naulit-ulit na yung mga matchups, ganyan-ganyan, di mo na kailangan pag-isipan. Pero League is unique in a way na more often than not, you would experience different like matchups. Kasi magbabago rin yung junglers na kailangan mo rin isipin at some point. Pero yung base understanding na gusto kong ipakita dito is dapat dito pa lang or even kapag patapos na yung champ select, pinag-iisipan mo na ako agad kung ano yung dapat mong gawin sa early game, laning phase, etc. Kasi, once again, it's because much better na ma-anticipate mo kasi mag-react ka. And also, yung laning phase and yung early game is one of the few things, if not the only thing, na pwede mong i-replicate every game. Kasi, as an example, pwedeng mid-game, baka mamaya, this game fed yung Lucian. Pero on another game, na ganito rin yung exact same champions, maybe hindi fed yung Lucian, pero fed yung Z. Diba? So, ibang-iba yung mid-game doon. Nagets mo ba?
Yep, I get it.
Okay. So, pero yung sa, di ba, pag nis mo yung sa laning, na yun, yung Raven tsaka yung Mordekaiser, kayo rin yan. So, mas madaling magbuo ng patterns and parang mas madaling mag-structure ng improvement kapag nis mo yung kaya mong i-control. Kasi, itong part na to, di mo alam kung ano mangyayari dyan eh. Especially since hindi mo na makakampi ulit si Tempest, Sue, ever again. Maybe itong si Cloud9, wala. Ngayon mo lang makikita yan ulit next year na. Next year na yung next time yung makakasama yung sarili niya sa isang game. Unless duo mo sila. Pero even then, di naman laging consistent maglaro yung duos natin kung meron man. So, much better pa rin yung yung mga control mo. So, any questions so far dun sa part na yan?
Wala naman. I get it naman.
Gawin ko lang yung stream title ko. Coaching. So, anyway, ayun nga. So, proceed tayo dun sa game. Doran's Ring. I'm actually not sure kung ano yung starting item ni Mord dapat. But I think, so okay, wait. Depende kasi ito sa reasoning mo eh. So, ano yung idea mo kung ba't ka nag-Doran's Ring for this matchup?
Naka-ignite siya, so mag-ano, she'll probably go aggressive, so pasasabayan ko na lang siguro.
So, I think nagets ko na from yung item purchase mo na yun nga yung thought process mo. But the bad side that I'm worried about sa line of thought na yan is usually yung mga ignite top laners, they're the ones who's pressured to kill. Kasi for them to make use of yung ignite spell nila, well, they should be able to convert either yung kill pressure nila into something like, oh, force ka mag-back, they kill you, something like that, or maybe ma-pressure yung jungler nila mag-pass towards top side. Something tangible para maggamit, para maging may sense yung ignite nila. So, in a way, since nasa kanya yung pressure, I would start Doran Shield actually. Kasi that way, mas mahirap kanyang patayin with your regen and your HP. Sa mga all-ins, ganyan, sa mga trades. And so, hindi ka masyado mag-worry about dying to like ignite kill pressure. And if ever you screw up a trade or whatnot, ang OP sa TP early game is that you could always like TP and act like nothing happened, type of thing. So, ganun yung magiging line of thought ko for this matchup if I were you. And also, one of the upsides ng having TP over Ignite, again, binibenta ko talaga yung TP kasi unless you know exactly what you're doing with Ignite, I advise against like going Ignite top laners. So, for TP, like, once na unleash TP na siya after 14 minutes, so, mas may impact ka sa map. Or like, for example, nandito kayo sa top lane ni Riven and like, there's an important dragon, say, for example, third Drake to, which will mean like, soul point. Kapag nag-respond ka dun sa team fight sa dragon, nag-say TP ka sa likod nila or whatever, hindi makaka-respond dun yung Riven. So, making sure na meron kayong numbers advantage like 5v4, etc. And wala, Riven would at most probably be just pushing towers or trying to catch up. So, even in like mid to late game rotation, sobrang useful ang TP. So, kung alam mong may lamang ka sa mid to late game with yung TP, I think you shouldn't try to like fight fire with fire and parang, just like, oh, laban ako na lang yung Riven type of idea. You get that?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So, yun lang naman. I think it's playable naman sa Doran's Ring, don't get me wrong. Pero yun lang. Something to note. And then, one other thing na nakita ko from this one is, at the beginning of the game, don't stand near a tower unless you have a good reason. So, by default, you should cover entrances. What I mean by that is yung mga jungle entrances. I would like to think about it na parang, kasi no matter what you do, kahit solo queue yan, kahit alam mong ikaw lang yung maaasahan mo, right? You still have teammates. Hindi siya matatanggal sa equation. And if mamaya, matilt tong Fiddlesticks kasi naagaw yung blue niya or something, or parang na-invade siya sa first camp niya, or whatever, at, wala na siyang kano maglaro, nag-feed na lang siya, just because hindi natin alam, andito na pala yung kalaban sa blue buff nyo, pwedeng ikaw yung may kasalanan doon, kasi may pwede kang gawin dun sa part na yan. Yes, sure, pwede mong sabihin na, well, kung ayaw naman pala niyang mamatay level 1, sana din na siya doon nag-start. Sure, pero in terms of like yung improvement mindset, sabi mo kasi gusto mo mag-improve, and yung pinaka-consistent way mag-improve sa solo queue is yung sa sarili mo. Hindi tayo pwede mag-rely dun sa, oh, sisihin ko na lang si Fiddlesticks kasi hindi naman siya magaling. Ganyan. So, instead, we can look at ourselves and say na, well, dapat nga naman, andun ako para mag-cover sa jungle entrances and maybe I could ward, somewhere here. Instead of being here kasi parang wala ka naman nagagawa dito. You get that?
Yep, got it.
Okay. Well, to be fair, there is an incentive minsan to stand here. Pero, sobrang rare lang nun. Like, rare instances na um, let's say, wala talaga kayong laban dun sa, ano nila, like, let's say, na mag-i-invade sila 100%, and you don't wanna get caught, parang ganon, you're trying to play safe, um, it's, it's okay to be here kung ganon, but still not ideal, kasi, much better kung nasa sa mga bush, and then, kapag paparating na sila, right, maybe somewhere here, either you ward agad, and then you run out, or, something else. Basta, it's much better na you see them doing it anyway kasi yung ganito na completely wala kang information side na to. So, ayun na naman. Now, let's go to... And also, part of like another bonus na gusto kong sabihin is that if I were you, as early as now, try to remove yung habit na mag-skill up agad ng ability nang hindi pa nag-start yung game. Anong relevance nun? So, there might be a case kasi na, let's say, in-invade ka nga, tapos di mo nakita. Wala eh. They played around vision well, or baka di mo lang in-expect, naka-alt-tab ka, any reason you might have. Basta, they got the jump on you and di mo in-expect. Kapag yung na-skill up mo na yung Q agad, well, wala kang magagawa. You have to flash, or maybe you're even forced to die and maybe TP back. In either case, lugi ka dun kasi parang sa simula pa lang ng game, disadvantage ka na. However, there might be some instances where na-invade ka, tapos tsaka ka mag-skill up ng E. Now, you might say like, yes, that might suck for you sa lane. At least, yung hindi ka mag-blow ng spell or hindi ka mamatay. So, mas pipili yung bang mas pangit yung lane mo for like 1 level or yung wala kang spell or potentially mamatay ka. Siyempre, yung level 1 na lang, di ba?
Yup, level 1 na lang.
Yep. So, ayun lang. Again, not big siguro in most games, pero it's a good habit to, to train lang while you can. Training phase starts. Okay. Hope you don't miss any CS. Nice. Okay, so I will pause at a certain moment here, and I will ask you kung ano yung missed opportunity mo. You ready? What did you miss?
I think trade, probably.
Yep.
Wala na yung kuya niya.
Yep. So this is something na I talked about kanina sa planning part, and that's why, and I guess it shows na from this point pa lang, it's really good to have that in mind. Kasi for example, ito, if you keep track of what happened in this lane so far. So you queued first, meaning your cooldown is going first. Meanwhile siya, I mean, yes, nagko-cooldown yung Raven Q habang hindi pa niya nagamit lahat ng charges. But still, siya pa rin yung second to cast. So now, siguro about 6 seconds na yung Q niya. So may window ka. And now, you want to try to look at kung yung intention ng kalaban mo as to like why they're moving that way. Parang titignan mo lagi yung character nila, and parang you have to guess kung what they want to do next. In this case, so far wala naman, nag-chill lang siya. Pero, di lang niya pinapahalata. Pero ito yung actually gusto niyang gawin, which is, to get the minion, right? So, if I were you, I wouldn't be standing here, sa likod kung kailan cooldown yung Q niya. As also, you can see na 2 seconds lang yung Q mo, so you can kind of anticipate na by the time na malalasit niya tong caster minion, mag-up na rin yung Q mo. So here, I would walk up, tapos tabihan ko tong caster minion, para kapag gusto niya i-last hit, sige, I would go auto, tapos plus Q, and then I would win the trade. Kasi, ginamit niya yung time niya to hit the minion, samantalang ako, I'm trading against him, and, he loses HP. I mean, alternatively, ang mangyayari doon is, ay pag-trade siya sa'yo, tapos, di niya makukuha yung minion, di win-win pa rin, right? So, yun yung idea do sa opportunity dito. Gets?
Yep, gets it.
Kasi? So, kasi parang parang lagi mong ko-contest dapat yung yung gusto niyang gawin for as long as you can. That's how you would like parang practice laning. For example, ito, another concept that you missed is this moment. Go back here. There's a moment here na you didn't play it well because probably you missed the opportunity again. Kaya mo bang i-spot ko yan?
Level 2 na.
Yep. So, instead of what you did here, na ang ginawa mo is you walked like this and then hit, you could have done something like punta ka muna dito sa gitna nung minion na gustong ilasit ni Riven and yung minion na gusto mong ilasit para pag nalasit mo to, you can immediately cast yung E. And wala pa siyang, remember, wala pa siyang E to dodge it or wala pa siyang, Q lang yung meron siya. So, if he has to spend Q para ma-dodge yung E mo, that means pwede ka mag-trade later on with Q. Parang ganun. It's like para siyang fighting game in a way na, merong times na turn mo matake, merong times na turn niya. So, kapag na-expend niya yung turn niya, aka yung Q, naman. So, parang ganun. Kasi what happened here is that kapag dito ka nag-position, it will take some time for you to close the gap here, and then tsaka mo pa lang siya may E. You get me?
Yep, I get it.
And like, may kita ko sa clicks mo na wala yung intention. Intention is really powerful sa League of Legends kasi it shows like what you're thinking of, and wala naman kailangan ikahiya. Like, especially sa skill bracket na kung nasan ka, maraming players na hindi naman super aware sa part na yan. So, pero kasi nung nag-click ka dito sa likod after mo mag-level up, it shows na parang hindi ka super aware na mag-level 2 ka. Tapos parang itong click na, tapos parang, ay, nag-level 2 na pala ako. Parang ganun. Parang nag-react ka dun sa level up instead of anticipating it. Okay, let's see yung key timing mo dito. That's not that bad. Okay. Ito siyang E. Alright. You know, by the way, just curious, naman kung ilang minions para mag-level 2 sa top lane, diba?
I think 2 waves? Not nakalimutan ko na since eh. I'm focused more on Aram ngayon.
Okay. Well, in the event na mag-grind ka ulit ng rank, this will be useful. The number of minions to get from level 1 to level 2 is, at least sa top lane, is 7 minions. So this means, madalas, this means, yung whole first wave, plus yung first melee. The melees give more XP. So yeah. Yun lang. Something to take note lang so that you're always like aware of like level 2 power spike. Okay, so how do I say this? I think for me, ang magandang training na pwede mong gawin dito is, alam mo na kasi kung anong gagawin niya eh. In a sense na kanina nung unang best ka nag-E, nag-click away siya or something. Kumbaga aware siya eh. Aware siya na meron kang E to catch him, and parang actively niya pinapansin na na okay, kailangan kong i-dodge yun, kailangan ko i-sidestep, etc. Right? Tapos nung time na nag-trade siya sa'yo around here, ginamit naman niya yung E pang takas. So, for the most part, aware siya sa paggamit ng E in terms of like escaping or dodging. So, parang dun pa lang simula sa base sa observation mo sa kanya, dapat mag-formulate ka ng strategies kung paano ma-outplay yung tao, hindi yung champion. What I mean by that is, alam mo na kung paano siya mag-isip eh. So, for example, in this situation, right, alam mo, pag nagbato ka ng E dito, automatic mag-sidestep siya or mag-E. So, instead, try to use Q instead, or don't use the E at all. Pwede kasing, dalawang mind games yan is, either bait out mo yung E, or hintayin mo hanggat mainip siya, tapos tsaka ka mag-E. So, parang ganun yung idea to sort of like psych players out. Kasi nga, at the core of things, League is still a mental game. So, kapag parang you get into, your enemy's head and parang hindi ka niya ma-predict. Katulad yan, di ba? Nag-i siya forward. Pero probably dahil alam niyang cooldown yung emo. Yan. Now that's good. Now that he made a mistake, kasi nainip siya, right? Like I said. Again, hindi ko pa napapanood tong VOD, I swear. It's just coincidence na applicable yung mga sinasabi ko prior. But, yan, in that case, nag-trade yung Reven with EQ, everything, right? And, di niya alam, up na ulit yung emo. And then, he has to flash. Now, flashless siya against the Mordekaiser. And if you played enough Mordekaiser, you know na sobrang big deal nun. So, yeah, I guess at this point, you're now super winning sa lane mo. All that's left to do is to keep that up and not fall behind. Nice Q. Ayun, na-bait out mo yung E niya. So, ngayon alam mo na rin yung reaction niya kapag mag-Q ka. Parang kahit anong spell, gusto niyang i-shield agad. Okay, so, other thing. Again, don't be too overwhelmed, by the way. I will be uploading this on YouTube for your viewing. In case na you want me to be public, okay lang ba na i-public ko yung VOD nito sa YouTube if ever?
Yep, it's fine.
So, ayun. So, and then for others to watch, okay lang kung ma-overwhelm ka so far sa information kasi you can just rewatch it. Pero, I really have to address this kasi sobrang important itong part na to, especially kapag umangat ka na ng rank, let's say back to plat or whatever, as gusto mo mag-diamond. You have to be aware din sa jungle timings and sa parang jungle pathings. So, I didn't mention it earlier, pero earlier in this game, meron tayong key info na nalaman at the beginning pa lang, which is this one. Anong nangyari dito?
Nasa second na si Steven? Okay? Tama ba?
Nope. Ay, sa lane mo. Tingin ka sa lane mo.
Oh.
When it comes to jungle tracking, yun yung isipin mo.
I think if lalapit siya, not sure.
So, I would think na for the most part, because andito yung Riven, it's likely na hindi siya nag-leash. Yun eh. Actually, look here. Dito siya. Compared sa wala pa dito yung bot lane. Right? Gets mo ba yung part na yan?
Yep.
So, always look at yung like what's happening in your lane, what's happening, at this moment, ngayon na lumabas yung Jhin at Yumi, it's more likely na well, there's a way to sort of check it kapag kinlik mo yung camera mo dito and then may kita mo na bawas yung mana ng Jhin or something, it probably means nag-leash nga talaga sila, right? Pero again, normally you can deduce that just by looking at your enemy laner, pero sometimes you have to confirm na sa kabila kasi may mga times, very rare to mangyari sa lower MMRs, pero may mga times na andito yung laner mo, pero andito rin yung laner ng kalaban. That probably means na leashless yung yung jungler. And iba yung ideas in terms of jungle tracking sa part na yun. Pero for the most part, in like 80% of your games, meron laging unang lalabas dyan. It's either yung bot or yung top. And malalaman mo na hindi nag-leash yung side na yun. So most likely, nasa opposite side siya. How does this affect jungle tracking? Well, ngayon na alam mong ganun yung start niya, you can assume na mag-patch siya from bot to top. It will only take a matter of time for that to happen. So, as we move on sa clip kanina, you will see na at some point, nasa top side na yung fiddlesticks mo, correct? So now, you could safely assume, kasi mabilis din mag-clear si Udyr, mabilis mag-clear si Fiddle, na Udyr is probably roughly around the same pace. Again, that might need some experience in terms of judging kung gaano sila kabilis mag-clear, pero you could get a good idea of like where they are based on kung nasa yung jungler mo, assuming na same start sila. If ever open start sila, let's say blue start yung fiddle, and nag-start sila dito, tapos andito na yung fiddle mo, then there's a good chance around this timing, nasa kabilang side na yung jungler. Basic thought process lang, hindi laging ganun, but, always good to keep in mind. And then, here's the problem pala. Here's the problem. So, bukod sa part na yun na alam mo ng top side yung yung Udyr, or let's say hindi mo alam, it's still a good practice to think about what the enemy is thinking at all times. So, for example, if I was driven, wala akong TP, hindi ako makapag-back. Kapag nag-back ako, I might lose all these minions. Pag nag-stay ako, there's a chance I might die to Mordekaiser kasi wala na akong flash. Right? So, if I were him, I would be thinking, I'd either play safe, either one, play safe, or two, I ask for a gank. Kasi, mag-a-advance na yung Mordekaiser and I need help in top lane. Yun yung basic idea ng mga top laners or mga laners when they're like behind like this and they're suffering. So, knowing that, you have a task na parang kailangan kung ano yung gusto niya mangyari, parang gawin mo yung opposite. So, kung for example, kung gusto niya mag-play safe, right? I guess the idea behind that is, well, kailangan mo ngayon i-bounce yung wave na to. Kailangan mo siya i-crash a tower para mag-bounce yung wave punta sa gitna ng lane or papunta sa side mo. That's one goal. Pag naman gusto mong i-counter yung idea na hihingi siya ng gank, right? That means, at all times, aware ka sa gank na mangyayari. At any point, may lalabas na Udyr dito or dito. So, just be prepared. Yun lang yung idea doon. So, given na ganun yung idea ng enemy top laner mo, and probably yun na rin yung tinitingnan ng jungler. Kasi if topside yung jungler niya, titignan niya yung pinakamalapit na lanes. Sa mid, well, pwede naman, pero wala din kasi dito yung mid laner nila. So, baka kaya tayo na pumunta dito yung Udyr, baka nakauwi na yung Yasuo or nakaalis na. Right? Pero this one, sure siya na pag dumating siya dito, for as long as you keep playing the way you play, maabutan ka niya. Right? So, ito siya in practice. So, this moment right here. So, this is a bad E. I know na wala cooldown yung skills niya, pero what does it mean kapag ginamit mo tong E na to in this current time?
Wala nang pang-alis tayo pag nalapitan na.
Yep. So, a key thing to know for Mordekaiser players, and some people who haven't played a lot of Mordekaiser don't know this actually, pero you don't always have to cast your E forward. Kasi yung E forward is like pahatak, diba? Kasi it's opposite direction. So, you could always just cast E backwards so that it goes like this and you push them away. And that will be very useful later on kapag, na parang nag-all-in yung Riven or kapag may gank, which is again, relative to the timer, a pretty likely gank in top lane. And, as it stands, it did happen. Dito pala yung Udyr and he's just ghosting on you and wala kang magagawa. Now, a key learning to do here is that as soon as you see Udyr ghosting like this, like, kita mo yung ghosted particles niya, right? So, pag ganito na and alam mong wala ka ng E, just accept death. Kasi nothing is worse than dying and losing your flash. Diba? Kasi ang nangyari dito is, nahuli ka na nga, flash ka, pero dahil naka-ghost yung Udyr, can easily catch you. So ngayon, mamatay ka pa rin and wala ka pang flash. So, in the long term, pwede kang balikan ng Udyr para i-gank ulit and wala ka pa ring flash. So, gets naman dun sa part na yun so far?
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Any questions so far?
Nothing so far.
Okay. So ngayon, do you know kung saan na papunta tong wave na to? Is it like gonna stay in the middle? Is it gonna push towards your side? Is it gonna push towards his side?
I think my side.
Why? Why do you think na magpupush siya sa side mo?
Oh, wait, I hit the minion nila siguro. So, siguro papunta sa kanya. Parang na-damage ko na mabilis nang maklear.
Eh? Well, the thing is, uh, most likely, even though na-damage mo na siya, um, magpupush pa rin siya sa side mo. Pero, yung proper reasoning kasi, I've explained this also sa previous coaching session ko. Na there are two rules sa wave management. So, the first rule na applicable dito is yung law of equilibrium. It means that for as long as even yung wave, meaning same number of melees, same number of casters, same number of cannons, etc. As in literal pareho, it would stay in the same spot for as long as parang an external force acts on it. Right? Parang gumamit ka ng Mordekaiser Q, ganyan, whatever. Whatever. So, in any case, kapag part ng law of equilibrium is that if the equilibrium is broken, whichever side has the greater force, meaning higher damage, force equals damage, for this particular thing, that means na the lane will push away from that side. Because this side has more damage kasi look at it, if you try to count, 1, 2, 3 melees, 1, 2, 3 melees, so same lang yung melees, same cannons, pero yung casters, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yung casters yung parang damage group ng minions, this will have the highest damage equating to force, meaning mas malakas yung force nila mag-push sa side mo. Talk about science now. And therefore, it would push away from sa side ng opponent mo. Do you get that?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. So, yun yung idea doon. That's why, kahit na na-hit mo na yung minion, it's okay. Kasi for as long as lamang pa rin yung force sa kabilang wave, it will always push towards you. Always. Now, ito, there's some what do you call this? Yeah, some bunch of random trades. I don't know what did Riven do? Did he just dash in? Nope. Crash and dash. Good to know. Oh, he's dead. Right. Yep. Okay, so well, hindi namatay siya. Okay, I will take those 3 kills. Alright, see what you do here after. Try to go for plates, the minions. Okay, so alright. So I would play this out differently. I will explain it to you for a different reason. So for 2 different reasons rather. So number 1, this requires a little bit of foresight kasi and a little bit more game experience. Pero kasi in my eyes, I know na with this wave and yung current damage ko, I can't break 1 turret plate. Or if I could, it would barely break. And parang di naman ako nagmamadali sa gold. So, you know, I don't have to take the plating right now kasi 5 minutes pa naman eh. I have 9 minutes to do it. Instead, what I could do to be more useful or to provide more information and to provide a much better punish for my Riven or for the enemy Riven na mag-spawn pa mamaya, I would consider yung option na mag-ward sa mga bushes in case that Udyr comes back kasi nga wala kang flash. Even though likely na bot side siya ngayon kasi up yung bot side camps niya, you might, some junglers don't care. Kung may camp sila dito, mali mo gusto ka na lang i-camp sa top lane, right? So, might as well take that risk away and by warding ahead of time. And that's just a different way to play it. The point here that I'm trying to make is merong alternative play dun sa situation na to compared sa ginawa mo. And not necessarily merong anything superior. Pero I would consider it kasi this might come up in a different instance, and at some point, isa lang doon yung mas magandang option. So in this case, okay lang kasi ano yung pinaka-importanting bagay kung bakit okay lang na para mag-push ka for plates and stuff like that. Kasi you know, or parang parang ano yung bagay na uh, parang pwede mong sabihin na sige, kaya kong gawin to without getting punished too much. Um, and I could, maybe look to damage turret and maybe get some more minions. So, yung sign na yon is the fact na naka-ignite yung Riven. Kasi if naka-TP yung Riven, then doesn't make sense to do damage kasi mag-TP lang siya pabalik sa tower and then, you know, back to the ball game. You don't have the freedom anymore. With this one, okay pa. For as long as you immediately clear yung wave na to. Let's see if you do it. Seems like you do. Not sure kung mag-go back ka after. Based sa movement mo, you might. No, okay. So, alright. So, weird E. So, you didn't do yung you didn't back during that time. And that might be bad in some other games, pero I think clear nung Riven yung buong wave. I see that right? Parang afterwards, yung icon niya dito looks like it's queuing the minions. Okay. So, the reason kung bakit in some other games parang hindi ideal yung ginawa mo is that let's say for example walang Tiamat yung Riven. Let's say I don't know, naka-call field siya or something else, right? And so hindi siya makakapag AoE sa minions, right? And let's say hintayin lang niya hanggat malasit niya lahat ng minions. The problem is we have to entertain the second law of wave management, which is called the law of reinforcement. Okay? Reinforcement. Excuse my handwriting kasi it's just mouse. Pero the law of reinforcement states that the closer your wave is to your tower, to your nearby tower, or basically, the way you view it is, the closer your minion wave is, the closer it is to your tower, or the farther it is away from the middle point of the lane, then, dun sa side na yon, magkakaroon ng reinforcements first. So, in this case, let's say for example, ayan, ganitong situation, tapos darating yung minions, right? So, ngayon, andito yung intersection ng minion wave mo, tsaka yung minion wave niya around here, right? Kapag andito na yung minions, mas malapit ngayon yung minions niya sa tower niya and mas malayo siya dun sa center point. So, next wave, nang darating yung reinforcements niya compared to side mo. And you could see this. For example, sa specific frame na to, ito yung current wave mo. We can put this as wave number 1. And yung reinforcement mo is back here, which is wave number 2. Before this wave number 2 helps your wave number 1, itong wave niya sa likod, which is yung reinforcement wave niya, will already start to fight yung wave 1 mo. Gets?
Yep, get it.
So, anong implications nun? Ang implications nun is for as long as maging ganyan yung state ng wave, at some point, kapag mas marami na reinforcements niya, mas nagbe-build yung wave niya kasi mas parang hindi kinakaya ng wave mo. Kasi itong wave na to mas maliit dun sa upcoming wave Cannon wave yung sunod. So, hindi niya kayang burahin yung next wave mag-isa. Especially under tower. Yung tower yung uubo sa kanila. So yeah, as it builds up, ang mangyayari is, mas malaki na tuloy yung wave ng kalaban mo, gawa nung bilis ng reinforcements dumating. And so, mas coordinated yung attacks ng minions sa wave mo compared sa kanya. at some point, mas malaking wave niya, therefore pushing towards you even further. Right? So, in some games na ganun yung mangyari, um, mas, tawag ito, um, mas magandang parang mag-back ka na lang dito kasi babalik naman sa'yo yung wave. And since Canon wave siya, hindi ganun kalaki yung parang downside mo. Now, I'm not sure kung ano yung recalls ni Mordekaiser. But I think you can go for like blasting 1 kasi Rylai's rush naman ata. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pero yun, kung di man siya Rylai's, but I think you can still buy something sa 900 gold para lumakas ka. Kasi ito yung problem. Kapag di ka nag-recall dito sa spot na to, and then you're here sa wave na to, sure, the difference is, ikaw, level 6 against level 5, pero, Raven can play this wave differently para hintayin niya hanggat mag-level 6 siya sa wave na to, and tsaka kanya all-in. And, yung problem dun is, even though napatay mo na siya kanina, mas malakas siya. Do you know why?
The item.
Yes. The difference is, pareho kayo ng gold probably, or potentially, baka mas mataas yung gold mo, but yung sa'yo, nasa inventory mo pa. Hindi mo pa siya na-convert into items. And so, I think we will see it actually here, na sobrang willing siya mag-trade, kasi alam niyang hindi mo siya kayang basta-bastang labanan dahil sa item advantage niya. And also, kapag lalabanan mo siya dito, meron siyang minion wave para i-back up yung damage niya. For reference, do you know kung ilang minions parang ano yung kung ano ba? Kung ilang minions yung para mag-equate sa parang isang spell worth of damage? One spell. You know?
I'm not sure.
Any guesses kung ilang minions?
Probably one wave or 5.
Close. Actually, it would take about four minions. Usually, it doesn't matter which one. Usually less kapag may cannon, pero around roughly 4 minions, it would equate to one spell. So let's say for example, nag-trade kayo, even trade, nag-queue ka, nag-queue yung Riven, sounds like even. Pero if you aggroed tong lahat ng to and lahat ng yan hit ka one time, you basically took 2 spells instead of 1. Right? So ganun yung calculation of trading within the minion wave. Kaya sobrang laking factor na isipin mo rin yung minions ng kalaban mo when it comes to trading. Now, it's a bit easier kay Mordekaiser because 1, you have shields, and 2, you kinda like roast minions on the way sa trade mo. But it's a good principle to know like either way. Oh, ayan. So, ito yung awkward dito ngayon. It's like, wala kang ngayong parang good timing to reset and parang you would need to find a way na lang to make something dun sa play na ginawa mo. Kasi yung play na ginawa mo is like, nagstay ka sa wave, nagstay ka sa lane para, mas makakapag-farm ka, para, ma-retain mo yung level advantage mo, para ma-pressure mo yung Raven. Whatever your reason might be, pare-pareho lang naman yun, you have to make it work. And in this case, this is too much. So number 1, this is a bad E. Do you want to know why it's bad? Either you know why it's bad? Either?
I think the pixel perfect na hindi naman na madadodge niya.
Nope.
Probably.
Nope, not that. What?
Or the
Okay.
wave.
Well, I'll rephrase it like this. Is there a way na mas mataas yung chance na tumama yung emo sa kanya?
Since may Q yata. Hindi ko na. I'm not sure.
Okay. So, one thing na alam mong gusto niyang gawin that you could tell from this like freeze frame alone is that at some point most laners will not be able to resist this. That's what you call a cannon minion. Pay mo sa stream ko for a couple of reasons. Pero for this specific reason, not only is it worth a lot of XP and gold, um, but players in general are psychologically attached to last hitting this minion. In general, uh, players will want to last hit minions kasi it's their way of getting gold. So, I were you, I would wait a bit further back, like here, or kahit saan man. Basta not too far forward para obvious na mag-ii ka. And then, at the time na they walk up and try to last hit this, at the same time na ma-lock sila sa animation, kasi diba may animation yun kapag na-auto-attack ka, parang ita-timing mo siya na kapag mag-start yung animation nila, saka ka mag-E. Get that?
Yeah.
That way,
Got it.
that way, it's either itigil nila yung auto-attack nila, tapos mag-dash out siya dun, tapos mamatay yung cannon minion, then, oh well, I guess wala kang cannon. Or, um, kapag sinalo niya yung cannon, let's say nakuha niya, wow, 60 gold, nice. Pero, kaya mo na siyang patayin ngayon kasi na-pull mo na siya and everything, right? So, parang, you always want to create those situations para sa enemy laner mo na parang win-win ka, win-win yung situation sa'yo. So, yun yung problem. Now, ngayon, the problem with this ult is that I don't like it. Not only na malapit siya sa torre, but also, tawag ito, wala ka ng E eh. Wala ka ng E to make use of yung parang limited space. Hindi mo siya kayang i-suffocate. So, because of that, pwede siyang tumakbo lang or whatever. And pwede niyang gamitin yung mobility niya to dodge your Q. So, hindi surefire fight to. Or at least, hindi ko makikitang guaranteed yung value ng ult ko. And matagal-tagal yung cooldown ng ult. So, mahirap siyang sayangin. Especially since kapag nagamit mo yung ult mo, magiging prone ka sa mga ganks. Right? So, this is the issue. Right? Another issue is that we've already acknowledged kanina na mas maganda yung items siya compared sa'yo. So, had you based dun sa wave kanina, you wouldn't have this issue. Mapapantay mo yung items niya. Naigets mo ba yung lahat ng sinasabi ko so far? Kung bakit parang connected siya?
Yep.
So, yun. Ngayon, if I were you, as a habit to practice for Mordekaiser, I would suggest, easier way to determine kung ult mo yung kalaban mo is, wait until your E hits. That's it. Kasi your E determines that, okay, you're stuck in here with me, I'm gonna make you stuck even more. Parang this is stuck and this is stuck times 2. Kasi, nasa harap mo na yung Raven, tapos nasa death realm pa siya. So, he would have a lot of problems kapag ganun yung situation. Right? So, ganun yung siguro magiging basic parang formula mo. So, in reverse, kapag nag-miss yung E mo, probably best na wag ka na lang mag-R. Ganun. Some tips para mapadali yung buhay mo as a player. Kasi yun nga, the less things you have to think about, the easier the game becomes. Kapag na plano mo yung mga stuff like that. So, ayan. We go back to lane. Ayan. Nice, using abilities to last hit. Let me just check something important. Okay. Yeah, I actually kind of like this. Then, dito rin yung fiddlesticks. Okay. So, I like the idea of moving. Kasi nga, fiddlesticks is pinging. I don't like na hit mo yung ward kasi di mo naman siya kailangang hit ngayon. You can hit this anytime. So, you're here instead na nandito ka na. About here or here. You're wasting time hitting this ward. So, dapat mas malapit ka na sa Riven. Pero in any case, what you do after is even worse. So, not only do you not finish the ward, aka mas malaki lang yung na time na waste mo. Right here, there should be an immediate sign that makes pretty obvious na hindi ka naaabot sa kanya, which is, what do you think?
Waste of time.
I mean, paano malalaman na Di mo na siya maaabutan at this point.
The queue.
Yeah. So, right? Parang, magtataka ka, like, ba't ko pa to hinahabol? When there's no way. There's literally no way. So, we wasted time both ways. We wasted time, like, see? Like, like this. The thing is, ano eh, Raven already knows na, ang tawag nito, na hinahabol siya. So, his first instinct and his main goal is to run away. And so, hindi siya super interested about trying to, outplay 1v2 type thing. Gusto lang niya mabuhay. So, since ganun na yung mindset niya, there's no reason to stay here. I guess yung idea mo is that andito pa rin yung Fiddlesticks na gusto mo siyang tulungan. But the reality of the situation is, mas takot yung Raven compared sa Fiddlesticks na to. Kasi, yung advantage ng Fiddlesticks is that alam niyang malapit lang yung laner siya sa kanya. Yung disadvantage kay Raven is that this is all fog of war unless may ward to. So, for as long as di niya alam what's behind the fog of war, it would be expected na, oh, well, I guess, andito pa rin siya and I still have to run. You get it?
Yep, got it.
So, in this case, it's much better. The thing is, he can't even move. He's so scared. Much better to just keep running top and then, clear the wave. Or something. Push mo yung wave habang may time ka. Get the pink ward. Ito, quick drill. What side papunta yung wave? Here or here? Here, B. Take your time.
B, more caster minions. Wait.
Okay? Sige, pag-isip mo mabuti.
Sa kabila. Sa red. Yung
Uh,
6 caster.
yep, sa A, right? And yeah, it's because you have
Yep.
6 casters. Yep, that's it. That's literally it. Diba? Ganun siya kadaling identify if you start practicing it. It's literally counting. And for all we know, counting starts at what? Elementary? Preschool? Diba?
Yep.
So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's pushing there. That's it. I mean, now don't get me wrong. Hindi laging ganon. It will sometimes depend sa HP values. Kasi like I said, we factored in force as a part of damage. So no matter what, for as long as buhay yung minions, consistent yung damage. Kasi it's alive, it's doing damage. But yung resistance, we call this variable R, this will become yung HP ng wave. So factor din to that you have to check. For example, kung mas marami nga yung minions mo pero lahat yan 1 HP, diba? So, mas mabilis mawala yung minions mo, aka less resistance, kasi hindi niya kayang tangkihin yung wave ng kalaban, right? Therefore, because you have less resistance, inversely, mas malakas yung force ng kalaban mo. Kasi at some point, ma-out-resist niya yung force mo, if that makes sense. So, always good to keep in mind din yung HP. Pero for the most part, general guideline namin sinabi ko na if you just count minions, then you would know a generic idea of like where it's going. Hindi mo kailangan maging super accurate palagi. Pero, ayan. So here, this is a situation where I don't think you should back. Why though? Anong pinagkaiba compared sa situation kanina?
Nothing to buy.
Nothing to buy. Correct. Tapos, there's actually a couple of things here na pwede mong i-argue, to be honest. So, I would like you to try and think more specifically sa freeze frame na to. Like, ano pang pwedeng mangyari kung bakit mas maganda magstay.
Now that I see it, yung plating.
So, there's plating, correct? There's one more.
Probably. I think yung sa queue niya.
Yung sa?
Not sure. use up na yung queue?
No. Irrelevant yun.
Oh, not sure. Yun lang napapansin ko.
Okay. It has to do with the law of reinforcement. What's gonna happen
Oh,
to this wave? Itong nakikita mo ngayon. Would you tell me what would happen sa mga future waves because of this wave?
ma-hold dyan din, papunta yung wave ko doon. Tama?
Anong anong papunta yung wave mo? Which wave?
Ma-stay lang yung wave sa under the tower. Ma-freeze ng ribbon, probably.
Nope. Law of reinforcement.
Oh,
Can you try to restate back kung ano yung meron sa law of reinforcement? Or do
wait.
you need a refresher?
Refresher, please.
So, the law of reinforcement, right? It states na kapag mas malapit sa tower, yung wave, yung intersection ng wave, or mas malayo sa middle point, that means na yung side na yon yung unang makaka-receive ng reinforcement, which is this side.
Yep.
Okay?
Got it na.
So, if maunang magkaka-reinforcements tong red team, what would happen in the future waves?
Mag-i-stack up yung waves,
Uh-huh.
probably.
And then,
Then,
would you say
probably,
na, huh? Go.
wait lang. I think magpo-push siya
Saan?
since mag-stack up yung wave, then magpo-push siya papuntang gitna ng top lane, probably.
Okay. Do you think it stops sa gitna?
By the looks of nandito sa frame na to, no. Kung i-clear niya, yes, ma-stack up sa gitna. Tama. No, malapit pala sa tower niya. Since may paparating na wave sa akin.
So,
Mm,
in conclusion, do you think na mag-stop sa gitna or saan?
Near tower niya.
Near tower niya after a few waves pass by.
Yep.
So, they need some work. Pero for the most part, nakuha mo na yung ideas ng reinforcement waves eh. Pero yung visualization na lang or yung foresight na lang of what would happen. Pero tama yung idea mo. Actually, mag-stack up ngayong waves. You're correct. It's because mas mabilis magkaroon ng reinforcements dito. Therefore, mas mabilis mag-pile up to. And also, because yung force nung waves na to is added by the fact that there's a tower. And, itong wave na to, malayo pa yung reinforcement which is still here. More likely, mas magiging mataas yung resistance itong wave na to. And at some point, kapag nag-stack yung wave na yan, tataas din yung force niya. So at some point, it will start pushing towards the middle. And pag nandun na siya sa middle, right? Mas malaki na yung wave na magko-collide dito combined compared sa wave mo. And so, magko-push siya sa side mo. You can actually see this in display kung hindi mo i-hit yung wave. You can actually see this happen in like a few minutes. Like you could simulate this with other stuff. You see? Because partially may ang tawag nito, ang effect dito is tawag nito, pinush nung Raven yung wave. Pero if you were still here, the wave would collide about here siguro unless you stop it. Pero the reason kung bakit important kasi to, yung idea of like where the waves might go, kasi kailan niya clear yun kasi kasi naramdaman niyang nag-back ka or something like that. Or maybe gusto lang talaga niya mag-clear ng waves. Pero it's good for him to clear yung wave kasi yun nga, kapag nag-back ka talaga during that time, well, you're gonna miss this wave. At the same time, kapag kasi hindi niya pinush yun, ang mangyayari is, mag may chance na kapag nag-stack up siya ng wave and masyado siyang mabagal, you could potentially freeze, which wala pa namang opportunity to do that right now, for me to discuss. Pero parang ganon. So, if you could have stopped, if you could have stopped yung idea na na let's say mapush siya all the way like that, then this wave would have looked different. Or let's say, if wala yung Riven, let's say after nung wave sa tower, nag-back na yung Riven, tapos naiwan na lang yung wave mag-isa. Yung wave kanina, ito. I'll show you what I mean. If naiwan tong wave na to mag-isa, right? Yung wave mo sa wave niya, because mas malapit pa rin siya sa tower, and mas malayo pa rin siya sa center point, ito pa rin yung mauunang reinforcement waves eh. Itong side na to. So, at some point, ito talaga yung magpa-pile up ng wave. Like, na-imagine mo ba? Like,
Yep.
so, kahit wala pa si Raven dyan, wala siyang magagawa. Mag-push talaga yun sa side mo. No matter what. So, anyway, pagbalik mo sa lane, here you go. This is the concept, right? Ito yung pinapakita ko, pero at least kita mo sa camera mo. Ito yung reinforcement wave mo, and dinidelete niyo yung current wave ng kalaban because it helps with the tower, right? Ayan na. Magka-crash na tong wave na to. You see? Ito yung explanation ko kanina sa wave kanina di natin kita. It's like it's the opposite though, pero ito yun, nasa side na nasa side mo na yung wave. Ito yung gitna, oh. Ito yung tower. Andito. So, same idea. This wave will, in the future, guaranteed to be pushing towards the other side kasi it's getting reinforced faster. Not to mention, well, linalasit mo lang siya, pero if you push this faster, diba, lalo siyang may speed up yung pag-push sa side niya. Pero even if you don't do anything, kaya mo lang siyang ganyan, it will always push. There's some RNG sa cannon minions, pero you don't have to entertain that right now. I think, yeah. Right, yeah. So, yun lang muna. Ayun, see? This is the second wave, right? Ito na yung reinforcement wave na combine na dun sa current wave mo. And now, the wave is even stronger. You see now how the stack up thing works and how it would push? Ayan. Yan yun. Uy, sayang. Nice try though. Okay. Let's see if there's an opportunity to freeze so that we can talk about yung nasabi mo or yung gusto mong malaman. Okay. Okay, plano ulit mag-back. Okay, anong goal natin dito para mag-back? Kill caps?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess okay lang. I don't think making super useful din naman yung Rylai's sa Riven matchup. I mean, compared to other matchups. Useful siya in general, pero compared to other matchups na plantakas. This is nice. Good ult. I mean, this is kind of what I was talking about actually. Di ba kanina? Sabi ko sa yung parang formula mo is kapag tumama yung E mo, kaka mag-ult. Yeah, you kind of did it. Nice. It's just that hindi siya consistent kasi ginawa mo kanina, hindi tumama yung E, nag-ult ka pa rin. He's probably dead with E. Nice. Good stuff. And now wala na naman siyang flash. And you have a wave. You have a wave, which is really cool. But like what we said, because andito yung yung reinforcement wave, and kapag nag-collide siya dito, it's actually nag-collide siya sa center. Oh, you cleared the wave too fast. That's actually a technique na so you could actually manipulate. Ngayon natutunan mo yung rules ng waves, right? And like inuulit-ulit ko siya para ma-emphasize mo, para tumatak sa isip mo, right? Ngayon, parang pwede mo na siyang i-manipulate. Ito na yung exciting part. Ito tayo sa exciting part. When it comes to wave management, is that ikaw yung magiging factor kung paano mo i-manipulate yung wave. So in this case, kapag tinuloy mo yung ginawa mo na to, magre-reset siya sa gitna. Right? We've seen that. We've seen kung ano nangyari. But, if you just last hit yung minions, right? Last hit mo yan lahat, isa-isa, because mas matagal siya mag-stuck dito yung wave, right? Ibig sabihin, may delay yung yung pag-push ng minions. Parang artificially, right? Parang in a way, inipit mo yung minions mo doon for a reason. And that's because ayaw mo mangyari tong situation na to na completely even siya. Right? Sometimes gusto mo yan pero with the intention of pushing this next wave anyway. Pero we're talking about manipulating waves. And so kung gusto mo mag-manipulate ng waves to what you want, let's say for example, gusto mong mas safe ka kasi wala kang flash, right? Kung mas malapit dito yung wave, let's say here, kung nilasit mo lang, edi mas good yun kasi hindi ka kasing vulnerable sa gank compared to dito, di ba?
Yep.
So, and in the same way, dahil nandito yung yung waves, hypothetically, most likely, no, ang mangyayari is, mas mag-stack up ulit yung wave mo. Therefore, ulit, same thing, right? This will happen every game. Sobrang consistent yan. For as long as naalala mo yung rules ng wave management, it will always happen like that. Goods pa naman so far. Do you understand everything? Or questions?
Nothing yet. Wala pa.
Okay, clear mo yung wave. This is good kasi Riven's missing some CS. Okay, but like you have to start thinking about, you have to keep drilling yourself like this. Yeah? Like pag nire-review mo yung games mo, okay, dahil andun yung wave niya, most likely pabalik sa akin yung wave. Diba? Kasi mas malapit sa kanya. If di ko ginalaw. Oh, that's bad. Okay, good elo. Buti na lang may E for backup. So yeah. So yan, that's just a TLDR. I want to repeat na yung waves just to save time. Pero yun yung some wave matchups or wave management techniques that you need to know. Okay. Pero so far, yun lang. I guess di ka pa in this game, the major mistake that you made was yung jungle tracking so far. Di nagulat ka sa timer ng Udyr, and then there was that one part na hindi ka nag-recall to get items with your gold. And so ayun, natalo ka sa all-in. Yan, good idea to push, and then here you would get probably 2 plates. And nasa Riven. Also good to clear this wave. Okay. Nice. I mean, I think you're doing fine. Speed up natin ng konti. Yan. I guess walang nagpakita situation for you to freeze. Pero I guess last na lang kasi baka patapos na kasi yung laning phase, so baka wala nang chance para sabihin yun. I mean, pwede naman siya gawin kahit labas sa laning phase, like you could still freeze outside of it. Pero I might as well mention it, right? So, saan yung example na kukunin ko? Ito. So, freezing is simply the idea of let's say something like ano ba? Magandang mas magandang wala talaga eh. Wala. Akala ko I missed something, but wala talaga eh. So let's say for example na lang. Let's use this wave as an example. So this wave, like I said, di ba, from yung patterns kanina, this wave will push towards you eventually. Eventually, mag-stack up yung wave, and then mag-push siya towards you, correct?
Correct.
So, let's say hindi mo siya okay, well, since mabilis talaga nag-clear yung wave, I'll just explain it from here. Just hypothetically, just imagine it. So, say for example, 7 minions in right now. At some point, magiging magiging like 11 minions. Like that's like 7 minions versus like yung 3 casters mo, so versus 3, like 11 versus like 6. And at some point, Kung meron pang third wave, if ever the wave is really slow, it might become like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like 14 to 6, mga ganyan. Alam ko may diminishing returns yan. I forgot how it works. Pero ayan. So 14 minions, 11 minions. This is minions, by the way. Baka minutes yung isipin nyo. So ayan. So no matter what, this will overpower your waves. And so it will push towards you. At some point, no, let's just say, ito yung matira sa wave. Let's say, binawasan mo yung wave na yun kasi masyado malaki. Kasi ito yung matira. The secret formula to actually, freezing, for as long as you keep it right here, which is yung range outside ng tower, right? Let's do may bilog yan, yung range ng tower. Yung sa labas lang, na labas siya ng tower range pero it's closest to you. Yun yung range na hina-highlight ko. Kapag andun yun, the formula is for freezing. So say for example, freeze is like this. Is to have 3 melees plus one caster. Sorry, baliktad. I mean, I choked. One melee plus 3 casters. Sorry. Brain fart. So, yan yung usual formula. Now, of course, you if you think sa scenario na binigay ko sa'yo, it's a cannon minion. And you will just transpose. So a cannon minion, the caster and cannon style. Let's just make this ranged. Might look like radius. It doesn't matter. It's not math. It is, but whatever. You know what I mean. So let's say for example, a cannon is actually worth 1 melee plus 1 range. If you think about it like that, you just have to transpose it here. Therefore, a freeze inside of a cannon wave simply 1 melee. Ito, 1 melee. So you can cancel that out. In 1 range, so -1, 2. So 1 cannon plus 2 ranged. For as long as the cannon gets the aggro first. So that's the idea. Ngayon, this is not a hard formula, pero this is the only formula you have to remember because sa iba't ibang sa iba't ibang part ng lane, let's say mag-move up siya dito or dito, whatever, right? Or basta nag-move up siya ng konti. Tawag na to. You would just have to add more minions para mag-freeze siya. So let's say for example, nandito siya sa part na to, +1 mo lang. +1 mo lang siya ng ranged or something, melee. It doesn't matter. Basta from this point, itong hina-highlight ko na to, yan yung formula for it. So gets naman yung sa whole formula part. I mean, again, wala akong visual representation for you right now sa game mo, pero tanda mo na lang.
Yep. Okay.
Yan. So, going to the mid game. Na ba? Ito na yung sinasabi mo. Now, laning is over. And what to do? What to do? A lot of people get lost here. And so, hindi ako surprised kung kasama ko doon sa part na yan. For now, because wala namang major objectives, kakakuha nila ng dragon, it's okay to still lane. Nothing's wrong with this. Go lang. Right? What happens here? Okay, nag-skip ata ako sobra. There's a fight. I wouldn't go for this fight. I wouldn't go for this. Does this fight go wrong? I'm actually gonna fast forward. Nope. Wait, what happened actually? Guessing na-chunk mo yung Odir dito. Okay. And bumalik yung Raven. Okay. Okay, well, kung ganito yung situation, to be fair, I don't think this should happen. But the reason why I wouldn't fight this is because one, nahuli ni Yasuo dito pa lang. Right? He's out of position and hindi ka agad-agad makakatulong sa kanya. So, it's going to be a bit hard. And then they could just like play this a bit better by moving out, you know. But nahuli yung Udyr and they still chase. Right? They shouldn't be chasing. And here sa part na dapat di na bumalik yung Riven. So, a lot of this is like yung was fueled by yung greed ng kalaban mo. Mainly from here pa lang, right? Um, hinabol ka pa ng Udyr tsaka ng Zed, right? Kung kailan nakapag-pick na sila ng kalaban. So, they burned everything na dun. And here, bumalik yung Riven, Zed still walk back to auto. So, there's some standard low elo stuff. Pero, against better players kasi, they would just go back, right? After this, like, look at this. Bam, tas alis sila. And then what would happen is, you would be wasting your time. Instead of like getting this free wave. Ngayon, kaya mahirap mag-review ng ng mga winning games, katulad this one. Kasi may mga times na ito yung mangyayari. Na sobrang swertihan ka, you get a random triple kill out of nowhere, and you will just win the game. Kasi tinan mo, hindi ka nga super far ahead eh. Tapos dahil lang sa mistake nila, mananalo ka na agad sa game. Diba? So, what if hindi yun mangyari? What if hindi yun mangyari? Eh di, you would have to play this game a bit differently na hindi ka ahead. So, since hindi consistent na parang golden XP income, parang resource to, kasi di ka nga sure kung mamatay sila, di ka sure kung magko-commit sila, right? At least sa'yo, nag-commit sila kay Yasuo, kaya siya namatay, but they have a choice to not commit onto you. So, because hindi guaranteed yun, well, might as well get yung guaranteed golden XP here in top lane in the form of CS. Right? Gets ba yan? Yung parang guaranteed and not guaranteed.
Yep.
Okay. Pero yun nga, since, they nag-donate sila, hindi nga siya triple kill but the free 2 kills. You must feel good. You must feel good about yourself. Feeling mo tuloy, alam mo ginagawa mo. Pero in reality, it's just yung kalaban mo na gumagawa ng mistake. So, here, siguro dahil nasa mid ka na rin niya, that's okay. Yep. Okay naman so far. So far, no big mistakes. No real blunders. Sa top lane. Okay. Ano daw kung ba't nagstay ka daw? Ka pa nagstay ng one more wave?
I think yung whole gold na, ay, whole item na bibling ka.
Kano ba yun? I don't memorize.
23.5 yata.
Oh, you build Rift Maker. Oh, I just realized. Okay. Oh, in this game, this is something I know for sure. Something I know for sure. Kung na-realize ko na kaya pala, after pala nung realize, you bought Amplifying Tom. I see. Pero in this game kasi, wait, let's see when you bought yung components na realize. Maybe I'm wrong. And during that time, nga, after you got the double kill pala, that the game ended. Yeah, even bot lanes winning. Yeah, I don't blame you too much. I don't blame you too much. Pero ideally, kapag ganito na yung situation, na sobrang hirap na yung kalaban mo, you just go Jaxo. Right? Kasi, it will make you unkillable and you would still do damage. So, yung idea doon. Riftmaker is somewhat in between kasi it's just a generically good item for Mordekaiser. Pero, it doesn't abuse yung yung parang, yung his ability to survive long fights. As well as Jaxo does. Okay, so you got Riftmaker. Okay lang. Again, it's not a bad item. Actually, pretty good item kay Mordekaiser for all reasons. Lifesteal, Omnivamp, AP, HP. Okay. Also, what I noticed is that you don't press tab a lot. So, it's much better kasi na masanay ka sa habit sa pag-press ng tab to gain information. Maybe I'll get somewhere here. So, for example, sa just by pulling up the scoreboard, not necessarily itong specific scoreboard na to, pero anong mga pwede mong tignan na valuable information kapag nag-press ka ng tab?
Probably items and
Items, that's
also
one.
yung bounties na pwede nilang i-contest whatever man na ano, something na gano'n.
Sure, I guess pwede, pero that's not that big. Ano pa?
Cooldowns sa mga teammate, yung item cooldown, saka sums.
Sure, I guess, pero again, something small. Um, sa early game, anong tingin mong importanteng tignan sa ano, scoreboard?
CS probably.
Um,
Oh. Uh,
why is yes? Why is yes?
more gold.
True, true. Actually, advanced concept yun. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. Which is basically yung topic kasi na yun is like ano eh, is the ability to change yung recall timers mo based dun sa gold no gold mo and yung gold ng enemy laner mo. Super high level concept yun. You won't be able to implement it in your games anyway. It won't matter kung meron ka nun or wala. It's not that important. Pero the one thing na hindi mo nasabi is yung jungle CS. Do you know this?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, 10 gap.
No, no, no. Like, in the early game, like, kung bakit siya importante tignan. Let's say, hindi yan 83. Something else.
This might
No, no, no.
probably.
Nope. Yes, yes. Ito. This number right here.
Hindi siya na masyado nag-jungle. Hindi niya masyado kinukuha yung camps niya. Tama ba?
No, for the early game. Okay, you know what? To make it easier for you, I'll look like a... I'll look for like an early game scoreboard. Like, uh, meron bang somewhere here? And, what does this tell you? Actually, this is perfect.
Whole camps na 24, tama ba? Yep, nag-full clear siya.
Yes, exactly. So in the early game, it's very important to check this as often as you can. For as long as, well, not often as you can, but like at least for as long as nagpakita yung ODR somewhere or enemy jungle somewhere, always check for this one first. Kasi you would have a good idea kung ilan camps or kung anong camps yung tinik. Okay? So, yan. Get into the habit more of checking tab. And that's throughout the game. Kasi you would need to check everyone's items. You need to check everyone's items para you have a good idea um, how much damage you deal sa kanila. Like, for example, ito, kanina, di ba, kanina, nag-check ka ng tab for yung Hex Drinker. Nakita ko yun. But then you also have to parang anticipate kung gaano kalaki yung damage nila based sa items nila, right? So, lagi mo i-check yan. It would be a mistake if you didn't. Okay, so, manually advance ko na lang muna. Okay. The reason why I mentioned that is, ano ba? Bata yun. The reason why I mentioned that is, but it will determine like, whether, kung paano yung magiging positioning mo in the mid to late game in terms of like, nasa ang lane ka, ganyan. Based on the information scoreboard. Now, I will explain that a bit later. For now, I'll just watch you farm for a bit. Feeling ko lang mangyayari. Okay, kill this guy. May ika. Boom. Right. Easy. Okay. Oh, in this case, okay. So, now that, parang the dust has settled and wala na masyado nangyayari. Do you, so, where do you think Mordekaiser belong? Like, in terms of like sa lane assignments? Like, mid, top, or bot? Saan tingin mo yung best lane mo right now?
Probably bot.
Why?
Para pwedeng pumunta sa top yung yung ADC and bot, probably.
Okay, no. What else? Any other reason that you can think about or what?
Probably yung sa wave. Yung kung ano yung mas malayo sa push, probably.
Nope, nope. Look at like
Mm,
bigger picture na parang look at it as you go to this lane because you're gonna win the game. It's gonna help you win the game.
ah, probably, ano, top per, ano, para sa ano ng Baron, para pa malapit, if mag-call man.
Yes,
Ah,
yes, yes. That would be correct. Now, in what situation would be na let's say for example, exact same lane states, right? Exact same lane states. Well, everything is exactly the same, right? Pero if you could change one minor detail in this screen, what would make you change from being top lane as the best lane to bot lane?
Dragon or Baron.
Okay na. Let's say consistent yung Baron. Let's say ang hindi pwede mag-change is yung Baron Dragon. Talagang walang Dragon, merong Baron, pero you could change something else. So one minor detail, nakikita mo sa screen mo ngayon, that would change from being top lane as the best lane to bot lane. Or to rephrase it,
Probably,
sige go.
probably because walang tao sa bot lane and sa yung mga probably nag-stack up na yung CS since namatay yung Lucian doon.
Well, no. Okay, so rephrase ko siya na um ano ba? Sa ganitong situation na up yung Baron at down yung Dragon, when would be the best time na pumunta ka sa bot? Or what would be the ideal situation for you para magstay ka sa bot?
The TP, probably.
Yes. Yes, there you go. So, malaking factor yung TP, yung whether it's cooldown or not, um, sa pag-decide sa mid to late game, parang lane assignments mo, so that you know kung saan ka magkakaroon ng impact. I mentioned this also sa previous coaching sessions ko na, um, generally speaking, yung idea lang naman sa mid to late game, kaya nawawala yung mga tao, right? Kung saan sila mag-rotate, saan sila mag-stay na lane, is you want to be at a lane kung saan mas malaki or pinakamalaki yung impact mo compared to other lanes. Right? So, na-address natin na top lane yung best for this case kasi yung impact dito compared to any other lanes is that ito yung pinakamalapit na proximity Baron-wise. Now, kung yun lang yung only parang reason, bakit hindi mid? What do you think? Mukhang same lang naman siya, proximity-wise.
Papunta na kasi yata yung ADC doon
That's
para
one.
mapag-farm din.
That's one good thing. Pero anong difference sa mid lane compared sa top lane? You could list a lot of reasons actually. Huh?
Isa lang yung daanan,
No, no.
probably.
Nope, nope. Keep trying.
Siguro pwede ka rin tumakbo ng bot lane or
Nope,
anywhere from the map.
nope, nope. Hindi concern yung anywhere from the map kasi ang concern mo yung Baron eh. So,
Oh,
something else.
probably, yung waves siguro.
Ano meron sa waves? You might be onto something. Sige.
Nagpo-push yung wave ng mid.
Nope. Okay. So, here are the other reasons para mas padali sa'yo. Okay? Para lang malaman mo rin or it's either you'll learn it or maalala mo siya. So, yung key differences ng mid and top lane is that mid is a shorter lane. Meaning, yung likelihood of you like finding minions or waves for you to farm is bigger sa mid. In most cases, you would want your ADC to get the most resources. Dahil sila yung late game carry. In most cases. Eh. Sometimes yung mid yung carry nyo, pero minsan lang yan. Depende sa champion. Pero yun. Also, because mas maikli to and mas mahaba to, it's more often than not, mas madali kang mag-retreat from mid lane, at least time-wise, like the time for you to get from here back to your tower is shorter compared sa top side. Kasi for example, andito ka, ang layo nito. Diba? Same lang nga. Ito yung tier 1 tower, di ba? Tier 1 tower. Tapos ito yung tier 1 tower. Mas malayo yan compare dito. Lengthwise. So, kapag nag-overextend ka and nag-collapse yung enemy team sa'yo, mas patagal bago ka makatakas. You might be forced to fight. And in that instances, or in that instance, sorry, mas maganda na kung sino man yung mas kaya dun sa situation na yon, yung andun sa side lane. In this case, because meron kang Death Realm and because of the way Mordekaiser works, mas appropriate nandito ka sa side lane. Gets ba? Yung lahat ng factors.
Get.
Yun yan. So, advance natin ng konti. Ano to? What's happening here? Yan. So, you really have to learn yung patience with your E. Kasi, here's another lesson na gusto kong sabihin sa'yo. Because alam nila na E yung threat mong ability. Kasi nga, out of position sila and you could hit them. No? Think of it na, anong iisipin ko kapag ikaw yung, or anong iisipin ko kapag ako yung Riven, di ba? Pag ako yung Riven, I would always like worry dun sa E ni Mordecai. So, ikaw, adaptation mo dun, what if di mo gamitin yung E? Diba? So, I call this idea na parang tawag na to, na the idea or parang the concept of having E or having the E is greater than the E itself. Diba? The idea is greater than the E itself. What do I mean by that? Kasi, if for as long as up tong E mo, Riven has to play around that. Agreed?
Agreed.
Kasi kapag tumama yung E, it's game over. Sunod-sunod na yan eh. You would get slowed, you would get hit by everything else, you will get death ram, lahat yun will come down to whether you hit your E or not. So, for as long as di mo ginagamit yung E, lagi nasa isip yun. And for as long as lagi nasa isip yun, it would cause him to something like hesitate, which would lead to something like misplaying, diba? Or stuff like that. Basta, like, you're in his head, rent-free. Ha? Napapaisip siya. Ngayon, na-down na yung E, mas madali siya mag-play around. Ngayon, it's 1v2, so it's not really accurate. Pero, nagigets ba yung point as to, like, bakit important na i-save yung E up until kailangan mo na siyang gamitin?
Yep.
Yan. So, yun. Sometimes yung key ability mo, this goes for everything, right? This goes for Blitzcrank Q. This goes for Windwall Yasuo. This goes for, ano pa ba? Lucian, or Karma Mantra, Lucian Dashes, right? Anything that's like very key in terms of like how it changes the fight, you should always like parang think twice kung kailan mo sila gamitin. This game is pretty much over, by the way, so I'm just trying to juice out as much educational content from it. Yeah. I would first recap kung ano yung mga pinag-usapan natin real quick. Okay? Just to remind you. So, first things first is that after matapos ng champ select, as early as this, start planning for your early game. It will be important to anticipate kung ano yung gagawin ng kalaban mo kesa mag-react. This will give you better chances and mas mapapadali yung pag-iisip mo in-game. Next, kapag na-plan mo yung early game mo, the first place, don't scale up as an ability agad-agad. And at the same time, huwag kang mag-AFK sa tower mode. Try to block yung jungle entrances para matulungan mo yung jungler mo if ever it goes to a worse situation. Here, always look for trades. Look for trades based on how you have planned your early game. Again, going back to planning. Second, um, be aware of like kung kailan ka mag-spike for 2 and always pay attention to your power spikes. Whether in general, whether it's level power spikes, item power spikes, always play around your power spikes. Always anticipate them. Always like make it an opportunity. Um, a lot of stuff dito is like jungle tracking. Jungle tracking. Ano pa ba? Then, ayun, being patient with your key abilities. Like I mentioned yung sa E. Um, making like formulas for yourself. Like kapag nagland yung E, then you could ult. Mga ganun. Wave management. I did a long segment about sa wave management. Review mo na lang. Then, around the mid-game, wala na masyadong nangyari dito eh. Itemization. I guess, itemization, depending on how the games go, by default, it is Riftmaker kay Mordekaiser. Pero in some games, kapag sobrang ahead mo na, you can consider Jackshaw. Kasi they can't really kill you and you will always have a chance to kill them. Right? Same concept yun. If you're super far ahead, always build defensively. If you're super far behind, always build defensively. Itemization concept. Here, in terms of like mid to late game lane assignments or macro rotations, ang iisipin mo lang palagi is saan ka may pinakamalaking impact. Kung top lane ba, mid lane ba, bot lane ba, relative sa mga objectives sa map. Whether it's towers, epic monsters, baron, dragon, etc. And that's about it. Any questions so far?
Wala naman, all clear naman.
Okay,
Very clear.
so thank you for now. I will stop recording. Uh, ano rin yung encoder ko. Nagrereklamo na encoder ko. But yeah, so upload ko to sa YouTube as with your permission, going kong public para pwede mong i-review anytime you want. In case na gusto mo na refresher, how to play lane better, ganyan-ganyan. Everything included. Tapos, ayun, from here on out, I just want to remind you na lahat ng kino-coach kong students, it's not a one-way trip. Na parang, okay, tapos na yung coaching session, di na kita kilala. You know? Permanent bind na yan. Wala ka na magagawa. May pakina ako sa'yo. Right? So, don't be afraid na kapag meron kang simple questions, again, simple hindi yung tatanungin mo ako kung ano bang parang best way to play the scenario tapos yung scenario mo is like a 3-minute clip. Okay? Wala akong ganun karaming time. So, yung mga simple questions like, mas maganda ba yung conditioning compared sa bone plating? Do I start Doran string? Is this a good mythic for ganito, ganyan? I can answer all of that in DMs. Kamahiya. And then, I'll try to keep in touch with you. Hopefully, ikaw rin. Kasi gusto ko makita kung may progress ka sa rank journey mo. If ever man. Kasi, ano ba yung current rank mo? Around gold? Right? Says here. Or silver. Baka silver pa lang yung provisional mo.
Silver 2.
Ayun. So, in silver pa lang, I hope to see na di mag-gold ka na mag-plat anytime soon. Yeah, thank you so much. I enjoyed a lot.
Thank you then. I learned a lot.
Sige. See you. Salamat.
See you. Thank you.